Hello maths fans, this is a tutorial on expanding a single bracket. Expanding brackets, it's an algebra topic. Let's explain where this is coming from. So we are used to expanding or doing brackets first because of BODMAS. So normally if I was going to have a go at this question, this means 5 multiplied by everything in the bracket. When you see a number next to a bracket, we're talking about multiplication. This whole topic has a lot to do with multiplication. So this means 5 multiplied by 2 plus 3. Now, if we were doing this with BODMAS, we would say 2 plus 3 first, which is 5, and then we would say 5 multiplied by 5, and that equals, let's write it like that, 5 times 5 is 25. Now, that's the correct way to do it, by using BODMAS, or BIDMAS, you may have heard it, or PEMDAS. There is another way, and that is to, instead of doing the bracket first, we can multiply the 5 by the 2, and say 5 times 2 is 10. Then do the 5 times 3, 5 times 3 is 15. And then add those together. So this is the same as saying 5 times 2, add 5 times 3. And you can see we get the same answer. And I could do that with any example and it would still be true. And let's think about it a little bit. Well, 5 times 5, of course that's the same as 5 times 2, and then 5 times 3. 5 2's add 5 3's is the same as 5 5's. 2 5's and 3 5's, 5 5's, okay? So this rule, being able to recognize that we can sometimes expand the bracket instead of adding the terms in the bracket, comes in very useful when we have an unknown in there, a letter. So because we don't know this number, I can't do the brackets first here. And we might want to manipulate this. So what I'll do is I will expand the bracket. 7 multiplied by n, 7 multiplied by 5. I've got to do those 2 steps. And remember, multiplication, okay? 7 times n, well, that is 7n. 7 times 5, that is 35. And so my final answer is 7n plus 35. And that is equivalent. It's the same as this original expression. Okay, so let's just repeat that. I take the number outside the bracket, I multiply it by the first term, we call this a term, and then we multiply it by the second term, and then we add them together at the end. Okay, 7n plus 35. Right, here's one for you to try. Try this one, 3n plus 7. I suggest you pause the video now, press pause, give it a try. And here is your answer for this one. We're going to do 3 times n is 3n, 3 times 7 is 21, and we add in the middle there. 3n plus 21. Simple. You just multiply both parts, both terms in the bracket. Let's move it on a little bit and bring in a second unknown. It's another n. So this time we're still doing the same thing. N times n and n times negative 4. N times n is n squared. Multiplying a number by itself, we can write it as n squared. And then n multiplied by negative 4, got to make sure we remember that negative there, and we get negative 4n. So now let's add those together. I get n squared minus 4n. And that is my answer there. So when you have a number times by itself, or the letter times by itself, simplify it to say n squared. And still remember we do both parts, n times n and n times negative 4. All right, one for you to try. So I suggest you pause the video now, pause it, give it a go, and here is your answer for this one. X times 4, x, I should use curly x's, this is going to make it clearer. X times 4 is 4x. x times negative x, x multiplied by negative x times x is x squared, so we've got a negative x squared here. So I can finish that off by saying it's 4x minus x squared. All right. Hopefully that one made sense. A little bit trickier than the first one I did because we had the negative x on the end. But 4x minus x squared. X times 4, x times negative x. Next one. Okay, we're stepping it up a little bit more, bringing in not just a single term outside there, or not a single letter. We've got 2p this time. So, same technique. Multiply the first term first. So we've got 2p multiplied by 3p, and that equals, well, 2 times 3, that gives me 6. P times p, p squared, timesing it by itself. Then we take 2p and multiply it by the negative 10. 2p multiplied by negative 10 is going to equal negative 20p. We simply do 2 times negative 10, and there's a single p there. So minus 20 p's. Now let's put it together. So we've got the 6p squared, and it's a negative 20p. And there's our answer. We did the 2p times the 3p, 2p times the negative 10. Starting to get a little bit more complicated with your multiplying of the terms there. But take your time, write down your steps, and it's pretty straightforward. Let's give you one to try. So pause the video now, have a go at this, and I'll move us on. Here's your answer. 5p times 4p, that's 20p squared. 5p times negative 6, that's negative 30p. And there's my answer. Okay, make sure you multiply both terms. Right, final one, real tricky one. Let's just bring in a third term in the bracket. Still the same rules. We've got to multiply 2a by everything in the bracket. 2a times 3a, 2a times 2b, 2a times 5. I'm going to do this one fairly quickly because it's not really anything new except a third term. 2a times 3a, I'm going to get 6a squared. 2a times 2b is going to be 4ab. A times b, we just leave it as ab. Can't simplify that anymore. And 2a times 5 is going to be 10a. And there we go. I'm finished. I've got my 3 terms now, expanded that bracket. Okay, final one for you to try. We are getting very quickly a lot harder, so pause the video, give this one a go, and then I'll give you the answer. And here we go. Here's your answer. 3a times a gives me 3a squared. 3a times 5b. 3 times 5 is 15. A times b, ab. Then I've got 3a times 1. Hey, this one's easy. 3a. And that is the answer. Okay, I suggest you go away, do a lot of practice on this, get into the habit. But what I will say is draw these lines. Remind yourself, I've got to multiply by every single term. The most common mistake I see is people multiply the first term, think they're done and finish. Okay, take your time, multiply every term. All right, thanks for watching.